T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Jumping on here for a special little discussion during the Christmas break here. Going to be bringing on a good friend of mine here, Mr. Freedom. Everyone knows Mr. Freedom by now. That's for damn sure. How you doing, Josh?
Pretty good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Just, ever since a couple weeks ago where we were at the event, there was a protest going on, a counter protest as well. Some people acting real silly. I kind of wanted to go over some things with you. So anyways, holidays were good. Good times with the family.
Yeah, buddy, just taking it easy, relaxing a little bit, enjoying the time off, enjoying the cold weather.
Yeah. So so I guess the first thing I'm going to bring up is apparently these drag it to brunch events were going on in Niagara for a little while now, and I don't think too many people knew that they were going on, but it's of my viewpoint and opinion that, like, I'm going to ask you yourself, you don't take any issue in a drag show if it's adult entertainment. When it comes to an issue or there's some concerns, it's when children are involved.
Exactly. That's when my interests were sparked to, like, what's going on here, and I need to make my voice heard just to let people know, because the things I've seen on the news stations, on other platforms, people are sharing these videos that are showing with video evidence that they're stripping and they're showing their private parts, and they're wearing fake breasts, and they're talking about sexual subjects, and there's children there. People are bringing their children. And even they look at the state of Florida. Ron DeSantis is now looking into that. Some of the stuff has been happening in Florida, and they're looking at taking it into the law's hands. And hopefully that's why I'm doing it, Rob. So hopefully we can bring some attention to the appropriate people, and they can make a difference on this matter.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like when we were kids, we didn't see these types of things going on and trying to be normalized for our kids to see. I mean, I'm sure there were drag events and adult events like that going on, but that wasn't being pushed on us, and that's not what that's not what we were teaching kids at that age. I mean, kids were being kids. I know, when I was 12, 13 years old, I was playing hockey in the middle of the street or building snow forts,
I definitely wasn't thinking any, like, these young ages, even 13. Like, if you were curious, we didn't have the internet to see nudity. You had to find go into your uncle's barn where you're not supposed to go and snoop around and find an old Playboy and get a visual of what a naked woman looks like. And then your mother found out and you got your ass whooped, right? What were you doing in there? You went through your uncle's stuff, and that was a typical story from an adolescent or a teen boy. That's curiosity, and and that's how I exposed myself to it as a young adult looking for it. But that's what kids will do. Not 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. When you're 13, 14, 15, you start to say, okay, you'll start to look into it yourself. And I don't think we need to take such young children and show them sexual acts. I mean, I think we should try to teach them better things than sexualizing a child. Let them be a child. Let their brain develop. And then when they get old enough, when they're 18, you can go buy a Playboy. You can go look at porn. You can do whatever. You can mutilate your body and cut off your genitals, right? But we have to preserve innocence. And I think that's one thing a lot of good parents always do, right?
Yeah, so I mean, this is the flyer that came to everyone's attention here in Niagara. I know there were some people that were protesting other events that were being put on that children were welcome to, but I think this is what came to our attention here, and it says "Drag It to Brunch Holiday Edition" at the Vegan Hippie Chick. Prize for the best ugly holiday sweater, and it of course not on this flyer I just pulled up, but we've all seen the flyer. It says right on it that it was all ages and children were welcome.
I think they kind of
Um,
changed their wording once they got some public attention from people.
is that what happened?
Yeah, and then because there's the one flyer for the Fort Erie, apparently it's different people, but they say adult theme. That's for Fort Erie. That flyer you're looking at,
This
right?
is this is what I was just going to bring up here. So I mean,
They still kept.
this is very concerning. So after this, or sorry, this was the night before the protest in Welland took place, and this flyer says Fort Erie Pride presents Drag in the Spirits, hosted by Chantel Cartier with special guest. Saturday, December 17th, 2022. Doors at 7:30. Show 8:30. All ages shows, and then in caps in caps letters, adult themes. So now I don't know how you interpret that, but to me it's letting you know right away that all ages children are welcome, and then in caps locks it's letting you know if you bring your child, this will be adult themed. Is that how you feel about this?
You know, a good group to look into, and I explained it on my live on my channels, is that there's one called Gays Against Groomers, where there's a bunch of individuals that are proud to be gay, in which they should be, and they have the right to be in their community, but they also are proudly standing against the grooming and the indoctrination of children sexually, and also standing against the mutilation of children. They're very bold, but they've been kicked off social media because they're now a hate group. But these people are nothing but a good bunch of people who are concerned for the children involved with this activity.
Yeah, like this brings up so many questions for everybody, and Andrew J here says all ages and adult themes should not go together ever. And I tend to agree. And you have another person now asking questions, so as a father, can I bring my son to a strip joint? Like where do you draw the line, right? If we keep letting things like this continue to go on, when will they, what do we
They
end
won't
at?
stop. Their end result is to destroy the family values, to destroy every value that we hold as a community. And they've slowly done this over the pandemic by closing the churches. They've broken people's spirits. They divided families with the get jabbed or lose your job, and people chose the side of the medical companies over their family and friends, and they set this huge divide. And this is all part of the plan. That's why recently, if you were in Pride Hamilton was there was someone holding an Antifa flag, right? Antifa, Pride Niagara, Pride Hamilton, and you want to call, what's the other group they're working with? BLM. They're all being exposed for being just a terrible organization that's just hiding behind these names, right? So Black Lives Matter, that's a good movement. We'll look deeper into it. The people that are running this about sexual abuse charges, human trafficking charges, you name it, and the fraudulent activity that happened in BLM, millions of dollars went to these people so they could become more wealthy. It didn't happen to go back into the communities and build these communities up, which the money was supposed to go to. And the same thing's happening in these pride communities. These pedophile groups are getting involved in grooming children, and these people are too proud of what they've built because somebody infiltrated it to say anything against it. Much like the churches and pedophilia, it's been happening. It's a strategic method they use with groups, and they've been using it for thousands of years. Say it's just a tactic that these people use. It's evil, and it's real, and it's right
Yeah,
now.
and the other interesting thing is groups like Gays Against Groomers or Libs of TikTok. These groups you're talking about, is a lot of these people, they realize how far this world's come when it comes to the gay community, and they think that it's in a good spot. And I mean, they don't want to see people hijack what their beliefs are in the name of, political motivation. And we know that these politicians are getting behind this stuff because it's divisive, and politicians like this divisive stuff, and they want to, be able to divide and conquer and act like they're the solution to all of this.
Well, you won't fight against your government if you're fighting amongst yourselves. It's, we've heard it a million times. And talking about dismantling, like, look at this, the women's movement. Women just finally got sports 30 years ago, their own sports. They had, they're allowed to compete all over the world in Olympics, and women only had that for a short period of time. Women got, they're allowed to vote. This has only happened over the last 50, 60 years, right? And then within a few years, now a woman can be defeated by a gigantic man who claims he's a woman in sports now, and in a competitive sport, and lose her position. And no women are standing up who are used to stand up for women's rights. They're not standing up because they're afraid of the repercussions. A guy like me, I'm just a roofer. I don't give a shit what these people say to me or do to my business, because I know there's no liberals out there that are going to do roofing anyway. There's only a few people, and I run my roofing community, and they can't tarnish my name in my roofing community. So I've become this invincible force on media, and all they can do is shadow ban me now because I speak the truth. And they've done it on several platforms. I run several platforms, hundreds of thousands of followers, been deleted, all because I stand up for what the truth is. And that's what most of these people that are in these groups, they don't want to say anything because they're afraid to lose everything they worked for. But they are in the same sense. So damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. So we seen, as soon as this protest was announced in Niagara by a group of strong child advocates from out of town, may I add, we seen right away, Vance Badaway, our local Liberal MP here, he clearly knew that this would be something he could cling to that had political relevance to him, and him and his office put out this right here. Statement from Vance Badaway and Chris Biddle on planned Pride Niagara protest. We will not tolerate hate or threats of violence directed at the LGBTQ2 plus community and stand firmly in our allyship with Pride Niagara. No one deserves to be harassed or attacked because of who they love or how they chose to identify. We strongly condemn the threats of protest at Pride Niagara events and the continued bigotry faced by the LGBTQ2 plus community in Niagara. Holy shit, that was hard to say. Drag It to Brunch and other Pride Niagara events are important opportunities to showcase inclusion in our community and for the performers to express themselves through art. As we've seen in other communities, threats against the LGBTQ2 plus community can escalate violently, and it is imperative that we stand together as allies against hate.
Wow. That's almost painful to read. Knowing that
it is.
Protest isn't violence, first of all. It's actually one of our rights. And in fact, I had to explain it to Chris Biddle that it's actually one of my rights in the charter. So there's no violence there. The only violence I seen there was against Carrie Massad, the journalist that's often been shows up at the freedom rallies. And she's obviously in opposition to freedom. And she states as a liberal. But, we've worked with her for a while, but they don't like her because, long story short, they stood up for somebody in the freedom movement. You know the story about Jerry McKenzie. Won't get into it. But anyways, they're picking on her now, pushing her over and spitting on her camera guy. And that's the only violence I seen that day was from these people.
Yeah, I don't, I should touch on that since we brought it up. I don't know the whole story with her and Jeremy, but I do know that I'm of the view that Karima, she's a lawyer and a human rights lawyer. And I know we have very different political views than each other, but I don't think anyone's who has human rights being violated. I think that she might have just guided someone in the right direction or something like that. And I mean, that should be ingrained in her with the path she's chosen to work in her legal matters in life. But yeah, back to this. We will not tolerate hate or threats of violence. I mean, there was no hate, there was no threats, there was no violence. But this is something we've seen before from this government. And it's let's create something that doesn't exist that will make a reaction, that will make it better so we can further our political agenda and steamroll forward by using these people and making them look like they're these terrible terrorists that just absolutely hate everyone and everything in their path.
I'll tell you something. After I did the show there and gave out free hot dogs and hugs and stood for the children's rights and standing against sexualizing of children, right beside you, Rob and Wellens, we received over 500 calls from, which I can only assume was one of the people at the drag show. He was there. He was painted face. I assume he was a dancer. They called my phone over 500 times, left over 100 messages. So my wife reached out to the police. It's the same people over and over again. So, I mean, I felt that I was attacked. My business was attacked over the holidays. I almost feel sorry for someone that wasted that much time because I turned my phone off for 2 weeks anyway. We're closed. But we can see the calls coming in. And within those messages, there was talk about me being suffered to rape and bad things happening to my family. It's not the first time people on the left has threatened my children and threatened myself. Like I stated a couple of lives ago, that my brakes on my trailer were cut one day. I've had personal messages, threats to my family and children. So I don't understand that this pride group talks about hate and violence. They seem the only one that spew it often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going to give this person any airtime and say their name, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. I had the same person reach out to me over the holidays, and you know, traditional family man here, just like yourself is, who you know, loves their children. There isn't really much a better time of the year to you know, hit our great reset button and enjoy spending some time with our children. And all of a sudden on Christmas Eve, you know, my phone's going off. And I got all these death threats, and someone's coming to kill me, and my family's in trouble, and yada yada yada. And you know, it's like, really, like, this is what you want to do on Christmas and Christmas morning? And you know, I've already had all my tires slashed 2 times now, and I got my house is like Fort Knox now, dude. I got 360 cameras around my entire house.
Yeah, me too.
But it's pathetic that you need to go to these levels. And then, you know, we are called the hateful ones. We are called all these names, and it's just a label. Like I'm at the point now where I'm okay. Just call me whatever you want, because whatever you say is the exact opposite, and everyone around the world is awakening slowly and understands that now.
That's true. I got a million messages calling me a pedophile. I was like, I believe I was there going against what they were doing, but that's the typical liberal thing to do, is point fingers and call you names exactly what they are, right? Like you said.
Well, just so you don't sit alone in being called that we're talking about the same person. And after they called you that and went on the internet and called you that, they then went on to make a post saying that that's what I was. And then after they made a post saying that that's what I was, they went on to say that that was what Pierre was as well, and that's what Roman is as well.
Oh yeah, same guy.
So and they also said they had video evidence. So I encouraged them, if you have video evidence of abuse like this, you know, why would you not have turned that over to the authorities? I'm sure you do, of Pierre and Roman. Anyways, we know how it is. It's gaslight. It's say names. It's call names. It's deflect. It's let's call people these names to take away attention from us. But I also wanted to move on to not only was this is what's scary about this coalition government, is that Vance Badaway put this out there, you know, our Liberal MP, and immediately following, right after, you got Jeff Birch. Pride Niagara said it best: as a community, we get to decide if we will be a part of the solution or a part of the problem. You know, the problem, like the unjabbed people, because we're a problem. At times like these, it's important we come together to be a part of the solution. It doesn't matter what we're doing there, Mr. Freedom, but it feels like no matter what, they're trying to set up 2 different teams, does it not?
They always do that. They do.
2 different teams. Let's put all of these people against each other, you know? So then after this went out, I jumped in and I commented, and I reached out to Jeff because I've worked with him through the community on some homeless issues and whatnot. And to be honest, Jeff's always been pretty fair. But of course, he wouldn't answer any questions I had when it came to this. And then we had, before before the protest happened, the Liberals set up a narrative, the NDP set up a narrative, and who else would be left to set up this narrative? Of course, the mainstream media. So we have Torstar Media jumping on board with drag queens could be met by protest at Welland Brunch. You know, so they jumped in, and that's behind a paywall, so we're not going to be able to see it. But I just wanted to show you that, you know, clearly they were trying really hard to do everything to smear all these people, make these people look terrible, divide everyone into two teams. And, you know, where did we see, you know, people misbehaving and acting out of line? We seen that happening with the, what do you call it? The counter protesters, right?
Protesters. See, the only, I mean, I hold my composure pretty well at rally. I mean, I find screaming and arguing doesn't really get you, you know, there. Although I've been guilty of it in Ottawa, yelling at the police after they ran over a candy with the horse and put women and people in the hospital. I had a few things I had to say, but I did say something to Chris Biddle. I had a peace of mind. I gave him peace of my mind as he walked by. And that's because my family's involved with the fire department, and he had my brothers up on their jobs, fired for not taking the experimental medication. And, you know, that's part of the gig of being a politician. You want to try to come under someone's career because they don't want to follow your narrative. Well, you're going to have to get some shit sometimes. So, Chris, I'm glad I said what I said, and I'll say it again. Right. And that's what you get for trying to destroy people's lives and people's family. So it is.
Yeah. You know, Josh, I don't know if you've seen or not, but my phone actually died when we were here. And when Chris came out of there, I followed him on the sidewalk right to his car trying to ask him questions, and he wouldn't answer any question I had to ask him. And it just goes to show you how we're in the position we're in right now. I was calm. I was respectful. And then when I realized my phone was dead, I said to him, "Hey, Chris, I don't even have my phone right now. This isn't like some kind of, oh, I got you. I just literally want to ask you a question." But no, you're not allowed to ask questions anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I want to play this video here that was outside of the show. And, you know, this is you kind of doing a quick interview. I don't think you knew you were doing an interview like you said in this, but it just goes to show, you know, a lot of people who can't understand why people have concerns. You know, just watch this 2-minute clip. There's children around. And you know, you're being pleasant and polite and joking, and you're doing what you do, you know, making everybody laugh on both sides. And, you know, do you want a hot dog? And of course, this guy's got to go in front of these kids and say, "Oh, I got enough hot dog at home." And we're like, what do you do other than laugh because you're in a weird spot, right? So Shandor says, this is a quote from your video that we put up. Man says he bought tickets for 6 13-year-olds to attend Drag It to Brunch in Welland. He appears to put the young teens on display to be seen by protesters whose concerns include what he has been called child grooming, re-uploaded due to factual error in prior edit. Shandor is very bang on with his commentary and everything he does. So when he posted it the original time, there was another drag queen in there that wasn't actually this guy. So he just fixed that up. But here, we'll play this video for everyone.
With my kid.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
You want a hot dog, though?
No, I got enough hot dog at home.
What a thing to say, eh? Like, yeah, it like, you know, that's a funny joke for me to laugh at, for you to laugh at. Like, we laugh at that, right? Yeah. But then after we leave there and we don't realize at the time, and we're like, oh, this man has like little children right there, and he's like, yeah, I got enough hot dog at home, you know, like, come on.
Right here in the restaurant.
It's a good way to get people who don't agree with you to like you, eh? Just flip them the bird.
Yeah, why did they parade her like that in that dress down the full street? With the
How you doing, sir? My name's Joshua.
Hi, Joshua.
What's your name?
Jay.
Jay. Pleased to meet you. So you bought all the tickets you said? I just heard what you said there.
$35 And there's about 6 13-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah. You're the interviewer.
Oh, actually, I'm not an interviewer at all. You asked to be interviewed, so my first time.
I was perplexed at that time. And
You're not
Yeah.
telling me enough. I can't.
Well,
Here we go.
so you're proud to sexualize young children? Is that what you're doing? This community of drag queen people are sexualizing children. There's books about it. Shake your bum bum. There's stripping for kids with dollar bills in their underwear. The one drag queen they invited to the White House says, "I like kids. They can sing and suck dick."
And Josh isn't joking. That's true.
Is that what you promote?
So, do a little history research about why drag queens are significant to the gay community.
With kids community. We're talking about children.
No, but
No,
why,
I'm talking about children. Yeah.
why, as a gay man, the drag queen community is important to me. Because in the 80s,
Well, you're a grown man. It should be important to you. Yeah.
No,
we're happy that that's there. Yeah, great, man.
Everyone.
I want my niece to meet people that cared for me when everybody else said "fuck you."
Yeah,
So I want my niece. I want my niece to be around people.
But that was a great interview.
talked about
That was
it was a little bit edited. That's my video for my live. And he explains himself as that he had people that cared about him in the gay community, which I understand, but you can just introduce them and have lunch with them. You don't need to have them stripped down and do sexual things. If these people cared about kids, they wouldn't do that. So I see what he was trying to say, but there's no need to have drag. You just be a gay person going out for lunch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean,
Like-
Josh, and I agree with you. Like, you know, I'm sure there was a time in this man's life where you know, unfortunately things were different and people had different views. And that's why I think people like me and you who go out there and document the truth are actually helping the cause for people who are gay and lesbian and whatnot, because a lot of these people have reached out to me and said, you know, what's going on and these kids getting involved in all of this nonsense. This isn't something that we want to represent our community. This is turning people off of our community and what we're about.
I never protested a drag show. They've been around for years. I've never gone around and protest. The only time I start protesting when I see these obscure, obscene videos of what I'm led to believe is happening here. And if they're blocking out windows and not letting people in, we can only not even assume, but we know something. You're hiding something, right?
That's exactly it. And I mean, me and you both seen at this one point there was a part where Chris Biddle was sitting up by the window, and then all of a sudden he was gone. And then we seen the counter protesters come and block off the window. Now this could just have been coincidental, but they obstructed our view so we couldn't see in there. And then when the one lady moved her sign, I remember we're both like, holy shit, look. And there was like 5 or 6 kids sitting at a table and they were getting stuff put on them by other drag queens. And this is after we had already been told by other people trying to tell us that there's no children in there. And then we watch 6 13-year-olds get paraded in there, and there was already children at the table getting their makeup or whatever done.
See, I got over the last few years, I've watched there's videos that come out of these pride parades, and there's grown men or grown women with rubberized penises that ejaculate water onto people, and they're squirting them on children. And they're like this. I don't know. Hey, be gay, but this is getting fucking weird. And that's all. And it's been going on for a few years. That's just getting worse and worse because no one's saying, "Oh, you don't want to say it. You don't want to offend anybody," right? But meanwhile, if I put a Canadian flag on and say I don't want to do another vaccination, you're a fucking criminal, right? It's just they're really dividing us. And I found that I actually made a little bit of headway at the last protest in front of the place because I made a lot of people smile. I didn't argue. I brought a lot of laughter there, whether if they're laughing at me or laughing with me. And there's 3 women. One, I remember Samantha, Sam. We had a wonderful conversation. We ended our conversation with a hug, and we both talked about different points of views. And we both understood them, right? And she told me, she goes, this drag here, I can guarantee you the men or whatever, the women are staying fully dressed. They're not stripping, revealing. And I said, okay, if that's the case in this matter, that these people are staying fully clothed, then why isn't this community denouncing these videos that they're showing all over North America where they're stripping for children? Why are it's still part of the same group, right? If I'm part of the Freedom Convoy, and on weekends we go down to the church and take our clothes off for kids, but and that, why I'd say something against that, right? Obviously, if we knew what's happening, if we had video evidence, and I was showing people these videos, and a couple people are like, wow, that's pretty fucked up, and we hugged it out. That's why I'm here. We actually had a conversation. We came to a conclusion why I'm here, why you're here, and we actually had a civil conversation, which is something I didn't think would happen, but I had it with 3 people that day. So I mean, that's the benefit. Why did you go there and protest? For that reason alone, so I could have a conversation with somebody.
Protest. Yeah, like these are the conversations that need to start happening, or we're just going to stay in the same spot, and we're all going to move nowhere fast. And that's a perfect example you just gave. It brings me back to Ottawa, when there was a counter protest down the road, and there were some people from the LGBT community, and they were talking about how everyone was homophobes and bigots and this and that. And I said to the one gentleman, I said, listen, you come with me, let me take you down the road, come hang out here, and if you still feel the same way, I'll walk you back here, and like, you shouldn't feel not safe. Like the way the media's made you feel, you shouldn't feel that way. Sure enough, I brought this guy and his boyfriend over there, and they ended up staying at the convoy and partying with everybody. And they're like, oh, the one guy's sitting there and he's swinging around this Canadian flag with pride colors. Oh my God, I can't believe it. This was the best night ever. They all ended up partying with everybody. And, we feed into this divisive rhetoric that the media and the state spits, and it continuously gets no one anywhere. So people need to start showing up at all of these things so conversations can start to happen, because we know conversations aren't going to happen with our politicians, with the media. All of that is set in stone and just going the way they want it to go. Now, I got something else here that I wanted to bring up. Just give me one moment here. I actually just found this on the internet before me and you came on here, so I haven't even seen this really, but I want to know what your thoughts are on this, because this is a little clip from inside the vegan hippie chick, and I haven't seen anything until literally like right now. I didn't know anything was posted. Now, we'll see how, our Chris Biddle is an adult. So I'm glad it seems he's really enjoying this, which is good for adults, I suppose. But we'll see here. This lady or gentleman, I'm not sure, whatever they identify as.
A drag queen.
Sorry?
The drag queen.
Drag queen, right.
Yeah.
So they come over, and Chris Biddle's a little giddy and excited and happy, and another one, and a little fanny shake here for Mr. Biddle, and he's all smiles and happy, and that's nice. But the one thing that is weird for me is of course we have suspicions. So this whole part here, there's no volume, okay, and there's no sound, and then I can skip to the middle of this.
Wow, this is bad. And you have battery packs.
And there's sound. So then the critical thinker in me starts worrying, like, was something said in this part of the video and they didn't want that to go on the internet because then everybody would see it. So the sound's mute. Because now watch this, Josh. Now we go back over towards the end of the video.
Phenomenal.
Okay, we got sound. And now all of a sudden the sound's cut out again, so we can't hear anything going on in the room. And once again, that might just be coincidental, right? That could just be the way it is. But I just want to justify, there are reasons that people are concerned.
Oh, there is, totally. I mean, there's piles of video evidence. If you have the time, go support Gays Against Groomers. They're constantly sharing this content out there. Like I said, Ron DeSantis is starting a lawsuit against this. He's working hard against this movement that's trying to sexualize children, and starting in Florida. It's obviously in Texas too. There's people actually working against, and this asshole right here, what's his name? Dakeface.
Lee Sterry.
Lee Sterry. Sorry, you don't call people names online unless I'm on my roofing channel. But this guy,
yeah, he's a boomer, that's for sure. So right here, what we have for people who aren't from where me and Josh are is this is a page called Niagara 411. They got 117,000 followers, and the reason they do have followers is because
A lot of them are fake, Rob. So, you know, a lot of them are fake. They don't have.
A lot of them are fake. You're right, because I'll tell you something. Right now, we got 13 times the amount of people they had on their stream. So
page had 20 views on his page with 100,000 followers, and we got her up on the Freedom Movement to show him how he was talking about people. And I expressed to Gales, I expressed to Verge, and I also expressed to the Fiddler's Poorhouse that if you're condoning this kind of guy to trash hardworking citizens, taxpayers, I'll never use your establishment. I'll never go to your establishment, and I'll go out of my way to tell people the same thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to rip through this video quickly just so we can kind of get the idea. I don't want to keep you on for too long. I know how busy you are, dude. So, but well, I'll play this guy quick. So the big thing I want to bring up about this guy is, you know, we're talking about not stereotyping people, grouping people, not segregating people. We're talking about inclusion. We're talking about not making an opinion, you know, and we made it very clear that the people that were coming to this event were concerned parents, and we got that all over the media. We got that handled. Between me and Josh, you know, there's a lot more people viewing that media than, you know, the Niagara media. So, you know, and of course, this is the way he wants to spin it. What just happened there? Of course. Okay, give me a second. You know what? You might be right. Let's check. Wouldn't that be something, eh? And you know what? If he did delete it, it's because of those comments we were just going to talk about.
It's right there. Is that it there?
No, that's not it. Let's see. One day ago. Get out of here. No way.
Well, we went out to the sponsors, right?
Oh, no, here he is. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
There it is, right there.
Took place in Welland, and it was an entertainment event, and it was people in drag. There's Justin right there in his rainbow cape. Sometimes heroes do wear capes. And there was a show, a drag show, scheduled to take place at this location, and who showed up but our freedom fighters. And I wonder why.
Children.
So there was an anti-event or anti-these people protest taking place from the...
Which we should make clear for the record right now. So not true. Not an anti-these people protest. And of course, this is the guy talking behind the screen who wasn't there and has no idea what was going on.
So-called freedom folks or freedom fighters, which I can't stand the whole concept of it being called about freedom, because it's exactly the opposite of what freedom is meant to be. And the crux of the matter was the fact that the event went on as scheduled. A great time was had by all. The entertainers had a blast. The people that were attending had a blast. The person that owns the establishment where the event took place was thrilled that they were able to go ahead and do this. Politicians showed up to support the event. And I just have to wonder, what kind of freedoms are you protesting in support of? You folks that showed up to be angry and loud and disrespectful.
I think if we said you folks, we might end up in a jail cell, Josh.
To this people that were participating in or going to see the event. What freedoms is it that you're after? Shouldn't it be the freedom of those people across the street from you to have the kind of event that they want to have in the place they want to have it, And shouldn't it be the freedom of the person that owns the establishment to have whatever kind of event that they would like to have, when they want to have it, with whom they want to have it? That's freedom. Don't you get it? That's the freedom. So what the hell were you there for? You want to go up and wave a flag at Parliament Hill in Ottawa? Go wave your Parliament Hill flag. You want to be political about it? Go be political about it. But when you're talking about a social function, irrespective.
I got an idea, Josh. I think we should publicly ask Lee Sterry if he would like us to come on Niagara 411 Live and let him know why we were there.
I already did that. No avail.
Didn't work, eh?
No.
Of whether it's part of you.
Radio. I've reached out to every broadcast station that, even I showed you CBC reached out to me, but they wouldn't let me do the interview if I had a videotape with my production company. So they wrote back in writing, we will not continue to slander you anymore. We're sorry, basically, the fucking email said. But they've been using my image for almost a year now, and anything under the sun. So they don't want to face the facts. That's for sure.
Your social circle or part of your lifestyle or not. Who the hell cares what's part of your? I don't care what's part of your lifestyle. Go home, have a beer, watch the Maple Leafs. Get out of Dodge. Like, what's the point? I don't understand why they call it freedom. And here's something else, Kevin, that pisses me off about these people. Yes, these people. That's what I said. Sorry, Don Cherry. These people is the fact that it's come to make me almost dislike the Canadian flag. And that's not right. If you see a truck driving around St. Catharines and Niagara with 5 or 6 Canadian flags on it, guess what? Guess what? That's who we're talking about. And it pisses me off that they have encouraged me to now think negatively about the Canadian flag because I think negatively about you. That's not right.
The irony, eh? He thinks in his
he used proper pronouns either. Rob.
Yeah, in his opinion, it's all good if you if you drive around with some flags on the back of your car, you ruined my country and you ruined my flag. But if you want to tuck and cross dress, well, you can do that in front of children, no problem. Like there's no rational thinking with these people. I will say, as he likes to address Canadians.
Well, I think we should have the strip clubs open up for all ages now, and then when the kids go in there, he just puts tape on the nipples and a couple little furly things, and the girls just wear bottoms and they can strip and do sexual acts for men and dance with them. What's wrong with that? That's what they want, right? That sounds insane. You're let your 4-year-old go to the strip club, but we can do it at a restaurant, and that's what we're fighting for. A child's freedom, not to be sexualized or subdued to your disgusting views. There's got to be a guideline that we've always followed, that we know that children shouldn't be subjected to this kind of stuff. That's why we have parental guidance ratings on videos. And over the last, the internet era, we've kind of dissolved that. But when I was younger, man, you couldn't watch a rated R movie on Fox. It was all not even swear words. We didn't get to hear swear words on TV. We used to have this guidance that humanity and society stood by, and now that's out the window. And now they want to think it's okay that they what they want to do. It's like Epstein's Island. Just because Epstein Island wanted to kidnap some women and rape them and sell them, it's okay because he wanted to. It's not fucking freedom. That's actually the opposite of freedom. When you're taking somebody and put them in a situation they don't want to be in, that's the opposite of freedom, and that's why I was there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what do you think is going to come of all this in the future? Like, do you think that people continuously, raising their voices and elevating themselves to stand against this, do you think that's going to help more people feel empowered and comfortable to come out and do the same? Because I know a lot of people are closet supporters. They're afraid to get canceled. They're afraid to be disciplined at work for standing with their morals.
I mean, I think it's going to. There's going to be some resolve to it either way. As like I said, there's governors getting involved with this idea. There's going to have to be some rules applied to this. I mean, it's a new age thing, and just like anything that's new, there has to be some rules set aside. So it should be a law that you can't strip or do anything sexual in front of a kid, or swear or talk sexually, and it should be something that our government gets involved with and sets those standards. What they've always done with sexual explicit content.
Absolutely, buddy. Anyways, I want to thank you for jumping on here and having this conversation with me. And we'll definitely have you on again. I love you, buddy. And
Buddy,
I'm sure we will connect with each other over the next couple of weeks and keep in touch. But until then, you and the wife and your family, you guys have a happy new year. And we'll take it from there, brother.
God bless.
Take care. All right, guys. Mr. Freedom, great guy. Always appreciate everything he's done for our country, our kids, our people. And it's always nice to have him jump on here with me. The only one other thing I was going to try and find for you quickly, guys, is I know Mr. Freedom's got a lot going on, so I didn't want to keep him on for all of this. But I just wanted to look up on Twitter the DeSantis, hold on a second, Ron DeSantis information here. Let's see if we can find it. I probably retweeted it. Let's see. Okay, let's go to my page. Get out of here. Home. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to bring up. This came out. So the same group who put on an extremely graphic, family-friendly drag show, which featured simulated sex acts, exposed buttholes, and oversized fake exposed breast, is performing this show in Florida on Monday. Gov. Ron DeSantis. So a drag queen Christmas, Murray and Peter present. And the Department of Business and Professional, sorry, my screen just messed up here. The Department of Business and Professional Regulation is aware of multiple complaints about a sexually explicit performance marketed to children held in Fort Lauderdale on December 26. The department is actively investigating this matter, including video footage and photographs from the event. DPBR will, like in other cases, take action. Exposing children to sexually explicit activity is a crime in Florida, and such action violates the department's licensing standards for operating a business and holding a liquor license. The department will share any collected evidence with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FDLE, for potential criminal liability. The department frequently conducts investigations into these matters upon tips provided by the public, and we thank the public for continuing to bring attention to these incidents. Investigations of such allegations will remain a priority for the department and indeed are ongoing. So, we're seeing it seems like Florida is, one of the only places in the world right now who is actually, will dare challenge these globalists. It's incredible. But I'm going to sign out of here, guys. And come the new year, I'm going to be doing some work to getting on here more often. So if you're on here watching right now and you're not on my channel, please subscribe to this channel, share it out there. There's going to be a lot more to come. And yeah, guys, I will see you next time.